Hello, everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome to today's webinar, My Journey from Corporate to Startup. Before we get started, I wanted to thank our sponsors, P&G Ventures, Kroger, First Financial, North American Properties, Fora Ventures, Taft, and KMK. This would not be possible without them. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen to ask your questions. A recorded version of today's webinar will be provided. Please continue to fill out that survey at the end of the webinar. Thank you all so much for attending. Today, you will all be using the chat tool during the presentation. So next to the word "to," please make sure you change it from all panelists to all panelists and attendees so we can all see it. Now I'm going to hand it off to Dari to get us started.
Cool, thank you. Hey everyone, super excited to kind of share my story and my talk with you all this morning. As mentioned, I just wanted to share with you guys the sponsors, but just wanted to jump right into it. Wanted to make this super interactive just because it is a webinar and I understand that it can be totally different and difficult from the perspective of, grasping and understanding. So story time. So right now, I want you to use the chat section. Basically, it's going to be like, I'm going to give you a theme. And with this theme, I want you to create one sentence. And from that sentence, we're going to create a story. So I'll start off with the highlights or, prefix of the story. And then and as you create your sentence, we can create the story. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. If not, give me ask for more clarification and I can clarify for you a little bit more. But the theme that we're going to go with this morning is morning routine. So I'll start it off for you guys and then I'll look at the chat to see kind of what sentences you have and then we can populate the story from there. So morning routine. Let's see. Tuesday morning, woke up, sun was shining, birds were chirping, started my morning with a workout, had my smoothie, and decided to walk out the door for a morning walk. On this morning walk, I looked at my phone, and from my phone, I got a message saying, and then you guys let me know what you got for the next story. Your lucky winner. Of a one-time trip to Hawaii. Let's meet up later today. It can be anything. It can be outlandish. It doesn't have to flow with a theme or anything. So, and let's see here, plus let me back up. Let's meet up later today to plan our trip to the moon and back, plus swimming with the dolphins session. So say for instance, we're in Hawaii and we're swimming with the dolphins. We were swimming with the dolphins and all of a sudden we saw a shark. Now what? And we swam for our lives. As we were swimming, we swam to the fishing boat We jumped on the fishing boat, but my foot got caught. In the shark's jaws. The fishing boat rushed us to shore. As we reached the shore, I quickly jumped off the boat and I ran to the ground and I kissed the sand. As I kissed the sand, I was relieved for my life. And then a volcano erupted. We ate the shark for dinner. These are good. All right, cool. So more of the story here is that I oh, and we roasted it over lava. Look it. Hopefully you guys have never eaten shark before. Maybe you have, I don't know. Who knows? But more of the story here is that basically I wanted to give you all the synopsis of, how a story or a life can go up and down or have different twists and turns based off of what you kind of planned and expected and dreamed and hoped for your life. So with that being said, I, kind of started off in corporate America, spent 10 years in there, had an engineering background, but within engineering, when I went into corporate, I started as an engineer. However, I came out with more of a business project management role. So that's a twist. And then from that standpoint, I decided to leave corporate, which was another twist because I hoped and dreamed and planned to be like the next CEO or executive leader of the company, but I had other plans for my life. So that changed. Spent 6 months outside, taking a sabbatical. From that sabbatical, I was approached with another opportunity to, go into the world of startup. Had no idea what I was jumping into, which was another twist. Had no idea what I was jumping into, but I knew that I was going to be great at it, and I had a passion and a vision for what we were creating. So that's why I did, and kind of like high levelly, that's where my story kind of ran into. But I do want to, when I jumped into the startup realm, I wanted to, it was difficult for me because it had to learn things all over again, meaning to say, like, learn a new network, learn the new terms and the new lingo. But at the same time, it put me in a perspective of where I was outside of my comfort zone. But sometimes when you step outside of your comfort zone, that's when you learn the most. And that's when you start to understand your limits and where you can and what you can't, where you can do based off of what you thought that you couldn't do. So that's kind of where I wanted to share with you guys today. So going into my next slide here. So I saw some power words here. Use the chat as well. Again, another interactive situation. What are some, when you think of corporate America, what are some words that come to mind for you? 9 to 5. Manager. Manager, when you say manager, do you mean like being managed or you are a manager? Both. Okay. Meetings, cubicle, money. When you say money, you make more money or time is money? Power hungry. Okay, So more of basically making a lot of money and the capital. Okay. Any other words you guys got for corporate? Power struggle. Entrepreneurship. Big buildings too. Oh, climbing the ladder, glass ceiling. Okay. All righty. So let's switch the table here. When you think of startup, what words come to mind? Innovation, small business, ideas, dedication, struggle. Few people, business. When you say business, what do you necessarily mean? Like handling business, or it is a business? Passion, flexibility, long journey ahead, new technology. Commitment. Work all the time. Lots and lots of them. Okay. All right, cool. So I think you guys are right on the money with your words. So here are some of the words that I thought of when I think of corporate and when I think of startups. So these are my corporate words. So foundation, play the game, lifer, slow to change, comfortable, network, traditional, focused, roles, structured, 9 to 5, bureaucracy, hierarchy and organization, premium, security. When I think of startup, I think of innovation, fast to change, creative, free, uncomfortable, challenging, network, fun, multi-focused roles, work-life balance, risk, always on the clock, linear organization, and flexible. So with these words here, I kind of want to just share with you all my thoughts on, from my journey on how I got to these. So when I was in corporate, not knocking corporate at all, because corporate, I believe for me, it was my foundation. So it gave me the understanding of, who I am, and it I guess shaped me into the person that I am based off of my background and my experience within it as well too. I was able to learn how to, manage people. I was able to learn how to be managed as well too. I was also learning how to, be comfortable in the position that I was in. Also knowing that meaning comfortable, meaning to say that I knew what role I was going into. I knew what my expectations and goals were on a day-to-day basis. And I knew that what I needed to execute and how I needed to execute it in order to be or get to the next level within my organization. Traditional, definitely traditional. You work your way up the ladder. You are more so, slow to change. So you would have to go through different leadership ladders in order for them to buy into your decision. Focused roles, meaning, like I said, more structured roles, more everything's more structured. Think about it like you go in, they have all these tools, that have been there since our birth, and we have to adapt to those tools. And then just the security of the job as well too, meaning to say that if there is if there's any changes, I know that I have this job coming up, because like someone mentioned before, having the, I'm sorry, what happened here? Sorry guys, sorry again. Okay, knowing before that someone mentioned about just the money piece of it, that I knew that this is what I was going into. They have, this is the structure that they have and things of that nature. So That's what I meant from that standpoint. So that's my idea about corporate. From startup, I would totally say that it's the same, but also different as well too. So the innovation piece, super innovative. You can come in with an idea and you can execute it. It can be, I want to, go to the moon tomorrow, or shoot for the stars, or, those type of ideas. You can totally execute it. It's fast to change, meaning to say that you can come in with your idea that is shooting for the stars and, execute it right away instead of having to go through the different ladders of leadership in order to get the buy-in that you need. Challenging, also challenging from the standpoint of, you're not necessarily coming in for, yes, yes, I am the, operations lead of a company, but at the same time too, I know that I might have to play the role of HR, or tomorrow I might have to play the role of project manager, or today I might have to play the role of partnerships, because you are working with a smaller team, as someone said, you're working with a smaller team, and you also just have the true goal in mind. So at the same time, you're more passionate about what you're working for as well. Fun, you can create your own environment. From the perspective of, hey guys, every Friday at 5 o'clock, stop what you're doing. We're going to have game day, So just from a work-life balance perspective, you also can be flexible within your, with your work-life balance based off of your culture as well too. Risk, meaning to say that you are going to take a lot of risk from the perspective, and this is something that I had to learn, is that from a risk perspective, I didn't understand that, hey, if you do this, you're going to have a different perspective of it, or a different outcome than what you would normally want to take, or, from a funding perspective, what does it look like to have, the um, to have things that don't necessarily work out the way that you want it to work out as well too. And then from a linear organization, this is the one that I really love, just because even though you do have, your different titles and things of that nature, everybody may report up to the COO, or, have your, how we're used to having the different organizations roll up in that standpoint. Everybody kind of reports and have this whole mentality of like, I'm kind of my own boss, but at the same time, I know that this is what I'm a goal oriented, and this is what I'm striving for from that standpoint. So um, I know for me, I kind of struggle to go from corporate to startup. And I would only say that because I didn't meet anybody in the startup world that had transitioned from corporate to startup. I've always heard and saw folks that, hey, I kind of had my own idea and this is what I started to do right out of college. And that was not the norm for me. For me and my family, I was like, hey, Dari, you're going to go to college. From college, you're going to get this job. And then from this job, you're going to work it until you go to retirement. So when I told my mom that I was leaving corporate, she was like, wait, what? And like, what is going on here? Like, you're going to do what? You're risking everything. And I'm just like, I'm just going to go with the flow with it and see how the outcome is. But as I as I transitioned into it, and I stepped into a leadership role that I knew that I was going to have the visibility, as well as me learning how to be the best me that I can be within the role, and be more passionate about what I'm working towards and working for as well. So that's why I kind of wanted to have this conversation with you guys, to let you all know that yes, having a startup is great. It's wonderful. It's rewarding. It's fulfilling. But at the same time, corporate is the same as well too. So if you do want to start off in corporate, that's totally fine, because you can build your structure and foundation, and to know what you like and what you don't like, and understand the buildup of an organization, and how to build that up, and how to work with different people and teams, and and get that type of learning and leadership within it, so that when you do go into a startup, it's not trial and error and fire and things of that nature. That's what worked out best for me. So did anybody have any questions on that? So for the next one, really short and sweet, just wanted to share with you guys a couple of takeaways that, one, it's okay with being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, like I mentioned before, it stretches you. It makes you understand that you can do what you thought you couldn't do. So definitely okay with that perspective. Teamwork makes the dream work. Um, I would say definitely working in a team. You're always going to be in a team environment, no matter what, especially from a startup perspective and in a corporate perspective. No matter what you have, I think it's very important to know that even if you are a manager or and especially someone always told my mentor always told me, like, hey, it's best to have a team that is hiring is someone that is greater than you or better than you type of thing, so that your team can grow and be successful. You don't always have to be the smartest person on your team. um, meetings are for collaboration sessions, not time wasters. So I'm very advocate for this one. Like I mentioned in my meeting, my picture over here, that a meeting could have been in an email format. Like if those type of things occur, like you just don't want to waste your time, and you don't have time to waste in startup world either, because every action and every step that you make and move is like very crucial to your success as a business. Knowledge is power. So within yourself, that's why I said that before, that it's okay to wear the different hats within the world, within your role, or transitioning and things of that nature. Because the more you know, the more you grow, and the basically it's I want you guys to understand that it's okay to, dabble in here and there, because it kind of makes you dangerous in those different areas. It's like, I know a little bit about finance, but enough to know that I can, balance this report in this sheet. And, I know about coding, like I can code this perspective, because that's what I, kind of want to be a little bit, knowledgeable in small different areas, so that you can be successful. And then the last thing is, no one is coming to save you, and that's a good thing. Meaning to say that as you begin to, dabble into different things. Like for me, when I when I started in startup, I'm like, no one's coming to save me. What am I going to do? But it was also a life learning lesson to know that I can be as great as I wanted to be. With, I'm sorry, I was looking at this. I can be as great as I wanted to be, because I can do what I thought I couldn't do. So let me see. How would I recommend we expand our knowledge as high school and college students? So from a high school and college perspective, when I was in high school and college, I prepared myself by being in different, summer camps. So I went through, things like this. At one point in time, I wanted to be a lawyer. So I went through summer working and experience and law program, which is swell. So basically I was placed in different organizations and different groups in order for me to learn. So I was important for me to, be an advocate and passionate about what I wanted to be passionate about. So I also went into, SGA and things of that nature, where I was able to, learn about leadership and, learning about working with a team, or, if I wanted to go and learn about startup, I would join this program. So I think it's very important for you to, one, go into organizations, to join a sports team, in order for you to learn how to work in the team. I think it's important for you to dabble into, different programs and groups that, your school might offer. Even though you might not find interest in it, sometimes you'll really see that, this is something that was very interesting for me, and I did learn something from it. Hopefully I answered that question for you guys. If not, then, ask me clarifying questions and I can go from there. I got one question on the map. Let's see here. I'm not sure. I'm having a little trouble with
I
getting
can
this.
read it to you.
Yeah,
Oh,
please.
yes. Can you describe your current role at your startup, Solo Funds? What do you enjoy the most and what do you find the most challenging?
Yeah, for sure. So, Solo Funds currently, right now, I am the chief operating officer. Basically, in so little words, I make sure that all of our internal operations and business is and processes are working as the way they should be, as well as creating processes to make sure that we are more structured from an internal side. So, for instance, my one of my daily role or my daily routines would be to work with our dev team to make sure that they have what they need in order to be successful from a planning perspective. So we work off of a agile process, which is basically doing 2 week sprints, which is, let me break it down. So our sprints are last 2 weeks, and the sprint is basically 2 weeks worth of work that we want to complete in order to get to one goal. So say for instance, we are, putting in a suggestion for referral, and we put in this referral program. And so we have our different tasks in order to get to that. And then from the end of that, that's where we have our goal, where we can push it out to production, that we will have our referral program. So that's one thing that I do internally. What I do love about it is that I'm able to work directly with the team. I'm able to understand that, and learn the different processes within the business, and implement them as well too, and also just and making sure that everybody is successful from their perspective to meet their goals. What's challenging for me is working. I would say working to put everything together. So because I get so many, ideas and opinions and 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 challenges every day, it's taking everything that I get from left and right and putting them all into one idea, one collaborative area in order for me to execute it out for the team. So making sure that everybody is on board at the same time, at the same point, and understand what our goal is on a weekly basis.
We have a few more questions too. We have a question asking, what is Solo Funds?
Yep, Solo Funds, I'm sorry, I should have broke that down too. Solo Funds is the most authentic form of lending and borrowing of money. So think of us as a community bank. We believe that, people are more credit worthy than what the FICO score is actually putting out for folks. We're we're making a market. We made a marketplace where anybody can be a borrower and anybody can be a lender. As a borrower, you're able to set your own terms, which is something totally new outside of the realm. Basically saying, how much you need. You can put how much. You can even give a tip to the lender. You can say why you might need the funds, and you put it onto the marketplace. And as you put it onto the marketplace, a lender, which could be me or you or whomever, can come on to the marketplace and fund off of two ways. They can fund solely off of connecting to the reason of why somebody might need the funds. So say, for instance, a borrower put on, I need $100 to help me support for books. And from there, I can connect with that. I can say, hey, I was in, college at one point in time, and I remember I couldn't afford this $100 book. So the lender could come on and fund off of that, or they can fund off of solely making a return on their funds that they lent out. We offer free financial literacy courses. So anything from how to create a bank account all the way up to the successful tools in order to get to retirement. We do also offer our own internal score. We call it the Solo score. The score, we believe that the FICO score is broken. So what we've done is created a score in which we believe that shows how credit worthy someone is at the time of asking for money. So essentially we can go to a traditional bank and say, hey, Dari's been on our platform for 2 years now. We understand that she does not have a traditional FICO score, or she, doesn't necessarily have the banking history than what you would expect or need, but we have shown how creditworthy she is by how much she's paid back her loans on time, give her her first credit card, or give her a more favorable interest rate for a car. So that's solo funds in the summer.
The next question is, would you go back to corporate or stay in the startup community?
Let's see here. I would honestly stay in startup community. I like the flexibility, as we mentioned before, and I've also gained my network here within the startup as well too. Corporate for me is, I guess I've kind of outgrown corporate. So from the start, I think it would just be for me, it would be a step back. So I wanted to keep going forward and growing and understanding and be more passionate about what I'm working for.
Okay, and this looks like it's our last question here, but what did you learn when you participated in your high school summer programs?
Yeah, so I've learned, let's see here. In high school, let me think. High school, the only one I did for a summer program was the summer working and experience in law. But outside of that, that's where I also had my first job. I also had, I was in SGA. I was also in Color Guard, which is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but they're the flag girls with the band. So that's within those different things. I would say I learned leadership. I've learned to be organized, and because I had a schedule to stick to, I learned how to, one, wake up and understand that, that as I have my schedule planned out and as I'm getting goals from my manager or from my team or from the team leader, we're learning and understanding that I needed to meet those goals and expectations in order to be successful.
Great. If we don't have any other questions here, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us today. Thank you, Dari, for sharing your background with both the corporate and startup world, as well as everything you've learned. The recorded version of the session will be available soon. Students, we love hearing your feedback. Please fill out the quick survey that pops up once you leave the meeting. It takes less than a minute. Please join us at 2 p.m. today for Scaling Supplier Diversity Across the Globe. Don't miss this opportunity to hear from Rod Robinson. He has a great startup story to share. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Dari.
Yeah, thanks, guys. If you guys need anything, my email address is dari@solofunds.com. More than welcome to, continue on with any conversations that you might have or any questions that you wanted to ask and didn't get some chance to. So.
Great. I'll share that in an email with the students as well, so you guys will all have access to that.
Cool.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.